Go, go, go! Let's do this.
All right, and our last topic that we're going to talk about here is the next-gen consoles coming sooner rather than later. And I know, I look at these, I look at articles, I see what people are talking about, and the reason why this actually came up and why it's even relevant right now, I know everyone's always, whenever the PlayStation 4 comes out, news places always talk about, when the PS3 was out, they're chomping at the bit to talk about the PS4 because they know people will look at it.
Right.
We have the PS4s, they want to talk about the PS5s. That's not why we're talking about it. We're talking about it because it literally is just around the corner before they announce the next-gen console. And in this year's E3, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Minnie, but in the Microsoft conference, when they did their presentation at E3 this year,
yeah,
Phil Spencer actually hinted towards the fact that they are already working on their next-gen console. So I mean, we're here, and then we're like, what? I look at it. For you, I think it's a little more extreme because you don't play a lot of console. You're mainly on your PC, and so it's like, well, I haven't really played a lot of it, so it doesn't feel like it's around a lot for you, right?
I had my PlayStation 4 for 2 years before I played on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you just had it just in case, right?
Just in case, yeah.
So you didn't do that, but I was like, dude, we're like coming into the next gen. You're like, what? What are you talking about? But both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 came out in November 2013. That means this November marks the 5th year. The most of the console life cycles are between 5 and 7 years.
Right,
so we're right at that sort of midpoint, which means that likely in 2019, I don't think it's going to come out. And maybe the other video that I did, maybe I was jumping the gun a little bit there, but I think for sure we're going to hear more substantial information about the next-gen systems.
You'll start hearing some hard rumors in 2019, right?
Hard rumors, not facts. Everyone's going to be going crazy over this stuff here. But we are on the cusp of getting the next-gen systems. And I'm going to bring up some comments here, and we can get into it right away.
Okay.
CJ Epp. We were talking about next gen and getting next gen systems, and he was like, "I'd switch to PC before I'd buy another console." Well, and thanks for the comment, CJ. But
thanks.
My point on this is like, okay, I get it. It feels too soon, or you don't want to get them. Maybe you're one of those people that just bought the Xbox One X, and if you did, which was it, a year ago that it came out? I think it was like a year. But
very strange release in the middle of the cycle.
Yeah, it's weird. And those that adopted it, you've got to accept the fact that a new one's coming out soon. I think
we should accept the fact that that's what should have come out in 2013 against the PlayStation 4. Then Xbox would have got the market share, not PlayStation.
Yeah, had they only waited. And I know it was probably to do with costs of production and everything like that, but regardless, I don't know if you were like me, but with the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, when they came out, I really didn't see that crazy advancement in comparison to the end cycle of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, of what they were able to do on those machines. I was just like, well, yeah, it's better. All the shading looks better, and look, some of them are 1080-60, but some of them were 1080-60 in the previous gen. It's not that noticeable of a jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, So CJ, when you're saying you'd rather buy a PC, so you're telling me in order to play the same type of thing. So if you're going to buy a PC that's going to play, say, like what the Xbox One X can do, which is very close to 4K at 30 frames, you'd rather spend. You're telling me you'd rather spend at minimum. I don't even know if $1,000 PC machine. Like I'm talking about monitor, PC. All the peripherals, all that. If you could get something at $1,000, that's going to play 4K 30 frames like true native. I don't know if you can.
Who wants to play 4K 30?
You want 4K 60?
No, I want 120.
Oh, yeah, on the frames per second, you mean?
I want 60 FPS in game.
But my point is, like
constant
he's saying,
bit rate.
Yeah.
But this goes to the whole next gen updating thing, right?
Yeah.
Is everybody is like 4K and 4K and 4K. No, you know what? If you get a 1080p constant bit frame rate of 60 FPS and you got 120 monitor, It is so smooth and looks beautiful. The colors pop are vibrant while you're moving, especially if it's a game like a Battlefield or a Call of Duty, Borderlands, something that's really fast moving, right?
Yeah. I don't think the world and the network is ready for 4K anyway. Not even the internet, the bandwidth and everything like that, transmitting information for multiplayer, for the games. I think 4K is kind of, we're here technically, but I think we're a lot farther away from true native 4K.
We've been talking about 4K for 5 years.
Yeah.
And here we are 5 years later saying, well, do we get 4K or should we do...
Yeah. You're not going to get... I know it's frustrating to see another console coming out soon, but the price, the beauty of what consoles do is they bring video games at a good level, at a moderate level PC for a lot cheaper. And it puts it in the houses of people. Not everyone can afford the PC. And if you're going PC, I'm sorry. You want to say PC Master Race, you're not buying $1,000 computer. You know, if you want to call yourself PC Master Race or whatever that they say, you're going to want a really good CPU and you're going to want a really good GPU. And the GPUs alone, when you buy them, if you're getting something that's like 4K, 60, whatever it is, you're talking that alone, that GPU alone can cost you close to $1,000. If you're getting a quality one.
Yeah,
so,
it's expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear your frustration, dude, but I just, if you're going to go PC...
I get the point that he's making. He's like, enough of these things. Let's just go with a PC that's been way out in front of these things for years.
Yeah, exactly. I got that.
What's the next comment?
The next comment is Max Ammo. They can make a hard drive...
Ammo!
Max Ammo! Max Ammo says, they can make a hard drive... He's making a statement here, by the way. They can make a hard drive you can pull out to insert a newer, more powerful one. Just parts that updated in a way where you can just slide it in and out to replace. It would cost less and encourage people to stay updated. This way, we don't have to pay $300 plus for upgrades, just maybe $100 to $150 for the new part. So he's talking about like a modular console, right? But dude, but every 5 to 7 years... you're going to need something completely new anyway. Think about even the PC. Even in the PC world, if you want that newest GPU, that newest RAM, you know what? There's certain motherboards that don't support it. Motherboards get outdated and those parts will not fit. They will not go back on the really old motherboards. It just won't. It won't be compatible. It won't be compatible with CPUs. It's a completely different infrastructure inside your PC. No different than it would be with consoles. Like, I don't see how making it modular is going to extend the life. I think we're still going to get vastly...
I think the idea with the console is to keep it small and keep it cheap for what it is. Yeah. Like $399.
Yeah.
$399 is what I got my PlayStation 4.
Awesome price for what it's capable of doing.
And I'm not going to touch that thing for 5 years, 6, 7 years. That's a great price. I have hard drives that are double that price in my PC.
That's my point.
I've spent thousands of dollars on SSD drives where I get the point, but I think we lose perspective when we keep comparing like PC and these consoles. As long as the prices stay down, like a $399 price. And delivering on something so good that's going to last me for 7 years, you're golden. Yeah,
you can't. For the average person out there that's not like money bags, that doesn't have deep pockets or anything like that, the console provides, a medium to higher end when it comes out range in terms of gaming experience in comparison to buying something like that with PC that you want to last just as long. You're going to spend way less on that. I hear people, and I don't care if you're one of those people, it's bull crap. You got to stop feeding people's head with this bull crap that, I can make a PC that plays Ultra this for $700 or something like that. I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's just, I just find it it's a little bit crazy. Go ahead and you go and do that. And you run your 4K at 60 with some of these games out there. Heck, Meaty, you and I have beast computers. Yours is more beast than mine. But sometimes certain games have problems, no matter what. Like,
because they have bad coding, they're not optimized.
So they're always going to have. No matter what, you have the best in the world. Doesn't mean that you're going to have the best.
If you put a tire with a flat spot on a Ferrari, you're going to feel it.
Exactly. So we got one last comment here.
Okay.
And this is from Yu Yun. I apologize. Yu Yun Kim. I don't know if it's sensible to expect 4K on a $300 to $500 console, because I was saying, like, what do you want on the next gen systems? Should it be solid 4K 30 frames? Because that's what the Xbox One X is. Well, it's not true native, and if you think that it's true native, then you're wrong. It's actually very close to 4K, closer than the PS4 Pro, but it's not true native. It's actually, the teraflops on it do not match minimum requirements for 4K 30 frames, which I think is 7.5. And the Xbox One X is 6. But anyway, so he's saying it's not reasonable to expect 4K on a $300 to $500 console when most PCs that are worth, $1,000 can barely handle 4K 60 frames.
See, it's a great point. That's a great point. And it goes along with what we've been saying. Like what I said, $399 for a console for 7 years. Yeah. I'm investing in that. Perfect. Yeah. You know, and like you said, $1,000 plus if you're looking for that. But until 4K monitors become the standard, why are we still talking about 4K?
Yeah, like I've got a 4K, but we generally record everything that we do on You Always Win in 1080. It's just easier. In terms of watching it, majority of people, even in the bandwidth, aren't going to do that. I'm not talking about, from a YouTuber's perspective, is a little bit different, right? Because we're thinking about what you guys can watch.
Most people watch on their mobile phones.
Exactly. 720 looks amazing on your mobile phone.
So what we're saying is, do you need 4 times the of what we're giving you now? I don't think so. Not on your mobile phone.
And not just that, though. There's always that argument. People use it whenever it suits them is, graphics aren't everything. You know what I mean? Well, if they aren't everything, then what does it matter if we have 4K 60 frames or anything like that?
No, I love the graphics. And getting the depth of they're changing color spaces. Broadcast standards are changing. They're changing from what's been a standard since high definition came out. Right. They're going to a whole new color space.
Yeah. That's more vibrant, more broad spectrum of colors.
It's
and everything
HDR.
Like that.
It's HDR, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we have HDR TVs. It's not about 4K. It's about bit depth. It's about the depth of the colors, the amount of the colors. These are the things that these consoles can push without having to go 4K. We need, as gamers, to keep our frame rates really high. Yeah. Because there'll be a game that releases and they go, oh my God, it only plays at 30. This sucks. You feel like you're getting vertigo because you're playing at 30 frames.
Stutter. I don't want the movie version of this. I want a video game where it's fluid, Yeah. And 60 frames is a huge difference.
Things like mobile phones have really ruined it for people. Mobile phones give you so much. They give you awesome cameras. They give you awesome video things. They give you awesome
Their pixel counts
places
are crazy.
To watch. Yeah. All this great stuff packed into this little phone. So people want to say, well, I want my DSLR to be 4K 120 frames. I want my computer to do this. I want my console to do all. Yeah. It's like, look, don't get spoiled with one thing, because we have been spoiled with certain things like a mobile device. They do so much, but all 4Ks are not created equal, my friend. Just because it's stamped 4K doesn't mean that's
maybe
the
we do get 4K. No, they're like, fine, everyone's saying 4K. We give them 4K 30 frames, but it's going to look like crap. Yeah, I'd still rather. And think about it. We're talking 2 years. How much more advanced are we going to get? I know things advance, but the price of that is going to be so high. I don't know how would you rather have a $399 console or a $799 console?
$399. Yeah. And I can play God of War like I did.
Yeah. And it still looks great.
The new God of War looks beautiful. And I mean, I'm throwing the blades and the fire's explosion. I played like 20 hours and never once did the game stutter or crash.
It's all the dynamic. Nothing. It's the dynamic range, the shadow, and what they can do with these new CPUs. And like you said, the color spectrums. We don't necessarily
need like a jet engine when I was playing, though.
I was pushing the PS4 to a limit. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not ready right now, but in 2 years, I think I'll be ready for a new console. I think I'll be okay. But I do want to see it noticeably better. And I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's necessarily 4K. 4K is probably going to be in there. What I want is an amazing picture. I want, exactly what you're saying. I want them to really focus on the dynamic range. I want them to focus on particle physics and the CPUs in it. I'd much rather have a powerful CPU that can manage 1080, 120 frames or something. Something stupid, ridiculous, where it's just absolutely solid across the board for every single game. I promise
Yeah.
you'd enjoy the game even if it's not in 4K. Because I think most of you in the console world aren't even playing 4K, or you don't watch movies in 4K and you're on your phones like you said, Meaty. So
4K is just a buzzword, and we're going to have to kick that to the curb and look at the bigger picture with color space, bit depth, dynamic range, all this stuff. That's
sure.
what we need to look at.
Oh, sure.